Hi.
Oh, hey, cowboy. Let me get
Hi.
a ride.
I can't.
I'm liking the cowboy costume. Okay, handsome. What is this, shawty?
What it
Is
do,
that why you took so
Shawty?
long getting? Look, is that why you took so long getting on?
Huh? Exactly, man. Cause I had them classes, and I'm out here out in the west. We out here riding hurricanes and stuff out here. It's hurricane season.
I love it. Preset, let's go. Okay, Soraya. And again, before we got cut off, I was telling people to drop what their costumes are in the comments. It's a party. It's a party. Thank you. Thank you, got to have. I appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah, you look so sharp. You look so sharp, Bestie. I'm so happy that you were able to join us. Bang, bang. He shot me down, bang, bang. I hit the
Okay.
ground, bang, bang. My baby shot me down. All right, let's go ahead and get started. If it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I'm Ashley Anye, an intuitive alchemist and energy reader, and I'm just here to help y'all heal. And we're healing with humor because laughter is always the best medicine. Talk to these people, B.
My name is B. I'm also known as Magoon. And I'm just a spiritual cowboy out here in these spiritual streets doing whatever spirit has me to do. And you guess what? If spirit asked me to ride a spiritual hurricane to get this message to you, that's exactly what we gonna do, okay? Cause we gonna slap them hands, we gonna dance and jig with our little kegs, and we gonna jipper-doo all the way down to your healing bone, okay? That's what we here to do.
I love it. And thank you again. Got to have courage. We appreciate it. And someone asked me earlier before I cut off why I chose to be a cat. And I was just reiterating that a cat is not just a statement. Or this costume is not just a costume, it's a statement. Cats are sleek, they're mysterious, they're effortlessly captivating. So I feel like it was just befitting for me to be an animal that I feel like I embody on a daily basis. So then it doesn't feel so much like it's a costume. It feels like I'm just living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden. So before the spirit put the pause on us, we're going to say a little prayer, all right? Because if anybody knows, or if everybody should know, basically, when we talk about things of the likes of the other side, spirits, things like that, we want to make sure that we're connecting with the right spirits. So I've already staged my space. I got the smoke already staging, or the smoke in the background, rather, already staging the screen. So I just want to make sure that we're connecting with the spirits of the light and not the spirits of the dark. All right? So any maniacal spirits, we ask that you just eradicate out of this energy field, out of this aura, out of this vicinity, because we are here just to deliver the message. We are simply messengers. We're not here to take up much space. We're just here to tell our story. And it's not even our story. I said earlier that I found these stories after sifting through many, many encounters and, spells and all of that. These stories are the ones that I chose. And I think that you guys will like them as well. So go ahead and sit back, relax, get your yak, get your snack, and listen to the stories of Beyond the Veil. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I was going to wear this while I was telling the story, but I don't know if I can see. Can I? Oh, I can. Yes. Okay. Oh, I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. So, again, these are not my stories. These are stories that I have handpicked. Hi, Glorious Love 25. Thank you for joining us. We are just getting started with our spooky stories. So go ahead and sit back, love, relax, and just watch the show. All right, so brief introduction because I just want to jump into the stories. All right. So tonight we're stepping through the veil. All right. We are looking past the threshold of the ordinary and into the realms where things that shouldn't happen. All right. We're going deep into stories of haunted places, magic gone wrong, or spells cast in desperation that echoes that they have left behind. All the echoes they have left behind. So if we have time after, we'll share our own unfiltered experiences. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and jump into the stories that I have hand selected for us to choose to share on our show. All right.
Now, before you get started, make sure you got all your canteen goods right here by the fire. So when we start talking, that the ghosts may or may not enter the realm of the ring of fire. Okay, because we want them to stay right there in the center where we can watch them. Because in this realm, we don't have Ghostbusters. Okay, go.
Right. You heard Bestie. You heard him. All right. So. First story, Haunted Hotel Exchange. And before I get into this story, this one hits near and dear to my heart because I used to work at a hotel. So anytime I hear stories about hotels, I already know that they're true because I have heard some things and I have seen some things because I worked the night shift. Hey, Ash! Because I worked the night shift at a hotel. She said, oh my God. I wish I could see your face right now. Oh my God.
Howdy, ma'am.
Yes, girl. And look, Ash, look. We came dressed to impress, my love. So I used to work at a hotel and I worked the night shift. So y'all know I have seen some things. Y'all know I have heard some things. You know I have encountered a lot of eerie experiences. So when I read this story, I was like, oh, I gotta tell this. This hits home, all right? So let's jump into it, guys, all right? So one of the most chilling hotel stories comes from Emily Morgan. I'm sorry, the Emily Morgan Hotel in San Antonio, Texas, all right? This historic 1920s building turned hotel sits right by the Alamo and carries many reports of paranormal activity. So the Emily Morgan Hotel, guests and staff have claimed to see the silhouette of a nurse from the 1920s wandering the hallways and vanishing into thin air, right? The hotel's elevators reportedly stop at the 7th floor, an inaccessible floor with no one aboard. Room 1810 is described by some as the most active. Whispers in the dark, the feeling of being watched when you're totally alone. This kind of story gives you the perfect... Wait. No, those are my notes. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That is right. This kind of story gives you the perfect backdrop to say, what if you... No, those are my notes. Here's my question. What if you checked into a hotel only to realize that you never really checked out of something? And I'm going to pair this with the hotel story that I have about my hotel because we had something similar. We had a lady that worked for the hotel for 20-something years. And most of the housekeepers remembered her, especially the ones that were there for 20 plus years. And they said that sometimes they would go up to the 8th floor, which is what this story had mentioned, the 8th floor being inaccessible, or 6th floor, whatever, 7th floor inaccessible. And a lot of the hotel workers would say that whenever they went to this 8th floor, they would always see the silhouette of the housekeeper cleaning the rooms. Now, mind you, she had already passed, but they said whenever they would go to this floor around a certain time, they would always see her silhouette. And I think that is where ghosts come from, spirits. People don't really leave. What they do is the essence, their aura, their energy stays behind, especially if they've worked at a place for a long time or lived at a place for a long time. They're not really necessarily ready to go. And a lot of that happens when people have sudden deaths like car crashes, or they die without really being able to die peacefully, basically. Like, say someone was like murdered. A lot of the times the person will come back and they'll still conduct themselves as if they're still living because they weren't ready to go. And so I'm not really sure how the lady passed. I don't think it was old age, but I know for sure a lot of the housekeepers have said that they have seen her still cleaning the rooms. And she's been gone well over like 10 years. So I don't know if you guys have experienced similar situations, but I do know that I always hear from the old heads that when someone is not ready to leave, they will always go back to their old lives. They'll always, continue to go to their jobs, continue to wake up, fix coffee, fix breakfast, and act like nothing has changed because they weren't ready to leave. It's only when you have left peacefully, transcended peacefully, to where your soul is at rest and you can transcend on to the next assignment. But when your life is taken from you abruptly, that's when you still feel like you have to live out and still, do your routine and whatnot. Have you heard that, B, or experienced that with any family member or friend or coworker?
I haven't on the job front, but I have something similar. So, a friend of mine back home had this very beautiful house, very beautifully constructed. And I used to go over there all the time. And one particular time, and it was around this season, it was starting to get cold. His nephew was visiting from Puerto Rico, and we were watching TV. Just we had dinner. We were just watching TV, and he had gone upstairs to go to sleep. And out the corner of my eye, I see this little girl disappear out of nowhere. White shirt, black plaid skirt, white socks, and the black shoes with the black and white shoes that they normally wore, that they wore in Greece, those type of shoes. So she comes out and she peeks like this, and I'm looking at her out the corner of my eye, and when I turn, she jumps back and goes like this, like, you didn't see me. Did you see me? Did you see me? And I was just like, okay. And so then she comes on the other side, which I was like in a just like a standalone chair. His nephew was on the couch. And well, actually, no, we both was on the couch. He was in that chair and he had just left. So that's what made me first realize that there was somebody else there, because he had just left. And I was like, wait, somebody's moving. So then she comes on this side, and then when I look back, she disappears. So the next morning, we're eating breakfast, and I look at him and I was like, because I couldn't shake it. I said, "Hey, did you?" He said, "Yes, I saw her." I said, "Okay, okay." I'm not the only one. And he said, "No, you're not the only one." My friend comes out. He's like, "What do you guys saw? Who?" And I was like, we looked at each other and we said, I said, "Do you know you seen a ghost in your house?" And he said, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. My daughter just told me that she saw a ghost. And I was like, yeah. So me and his nephew decide to look up, like any crashes or anything, because we like, well, maybe the young lady got murdered or something. We found out that in the 50s, there was a bus that tilted over in that same exact spot, and a lot of children were killed. And I said, well, there's one that's still alive, and she's still with us.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. And children are directly connected to source. So when they say they see something, they see something.
Exactly.
They're directly connected to source. That is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Soraya has a story as well. Here is my story. My mom told me this. My grandmother died when I was just a few months shy of 2 years old. I was very close to her, and during her last days, I was with her all the time. She lived with us. And I was doing what babies do, climb all over her, et cetera, et cetera. My mom would try to stop me. Hold on. stop me. And my grandmother would say, "Oh, just leave her." Shortly after she passed, I got really sick and kept going up to her room, and they would hear me talking to someone. My aunt felt like she was trying to take me. My mom had to tell her to leave me behind. Wow. Oh, I believe that.
Wow, yeah.
I believe that. Like I said, babies they're directly connected to source.
Mm-hmm.
Once you hit 5 years old and you're indoctrinated and they tell you ghosts aren't real, yada, 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 you know, that's when the switch flips. But up to 5 years old, directly connected to source. Directly. That is crazy. And they also say that babies can sense when death is about to come as well. Like they get like a eerie like chill where they can
I've heard that too.
when someone's about to die. Mm-hmm.
Or they get like really irritable and start screaming.
Right. Really irritable. One of the two, either really quiet, which babies never do, or really irritable. Because when they get quiet, they're scared. And when they start crying, they're scared. Depends on the baby, but I've heard that as well. The first story wasn't that good. It didn't give me goosebumps. Let's see what the second one is like. Because I'm just like, I mean, it was all right. Okay, so this one is from the Bayou. Louisiana, okay? And they always got the best stories, all right? So this one is called the Honey Jar of Bayou Sweetening.
Okay,
all
baby.
Right? So in a small, can you hear me? Okay. In a small rural community in Louisiana, a woman named Clarissa longed for a committed, devoted partner. Someone who would stay, build a life with her, and love her deeply. Through local word of mouth, she found a root worker and offered what was called a sweetening jar, which is a folk magic spell intended to attract and sweeten a person's feeling towards the spellcaster. Now, keep in mind, you got to be careful with these sweetening jars. Now, if you already have someone who you are in a committed relationship with and you guys have mutual love between you two, that's totally fine. But if you're trying to basically conjure up feelings that someone does not have at all for you, it's the recipe for disaster. Because as soon as that spell is over, the person is looking at you like, bitch, who are you? Why am I with you? What are we doing? What are you doing? So you got to be careful with these love spells because they're mostly intended for people who are already in love. But you have a lot of these root workers, these warlocks that will tell you, oh yeah, this person will fall madly in love with you and y'all will live happily ever after. But what they don't tell you is you'll have to keep coming to that root worker to get this spell casted on this person. Let's keep it moving. All right. So she went to this root worker, right? And the root worker offered her a sweetening jar. All right. It's a folk magic spell intended to attract and sweeten a person's feelings towards her. So the ritual. Clarissa was instructed to gather a small glass jar, some honey, rose petals, some cinnamon, and a slip of paper on which she would write the name of the person she desired. Oh, this is a recipe for disaster. She was told to place the paper in the jar, pour the honey over it, symbolizing sweetening his emotions, seal it with wax, and keep it under her pillow for 7 nights. All right? She also advised her to chant some incantations to the spirit of love. Like, you know, I am love, I am light, this person loves me, yada, 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 all right? So after a week, Clarissa did indeed meet someone new. At first, everything seemed magical. The man was really drawn to her. He was affectionate, he was attentive, saying the things that she always wanted to hear, right? But as time passed, she noticed subtle shifts. The relationship felt pressured as though the feelings were manufactured. The man's moods would swing. He seemed to love her, but not freely. More like he had to. That's that root work and magic on him. She felt uneasy, as though the spell had pulled in someone who wasn't fully his own person, or that the energy between them was not balanced, because it wasn't. That spellcaster made him fall in love with her. Mm-hmm. In order for her to keep him in love with her, she got to keep going back. So eventually, Clarissa realized that while the spell had drawn attention and connection, it had not drawn in authenticity or aligned hearts that were truly ready. She faced a painful choice: let the relationship continue with the sense that something wasn't right, or release the attachment and work on her own self-worth and readiness for love. So she chose the latter. She returned to the root worker, and she was instructed to perform a cleansing ritual, wash off the jar's remains, pour out the honey into running water, and say the words, "May I be open to love, but not bound by magic." She had to unsweeten the situation, release the forced pull, and create the space for genuine free will love. Now, this story ties into the theme of playing with magic and not fully knowing what you're doing, because you truly cannot force someone to love you against their free will. And if you do, that karma, baby, ooh-wee. And you know what I was thinking too, Basti? I was thinking of the show Snap, because I just saw the show Snap. I saw someone really like in love with someone, and then one moment they just snapped and just took someone's life. And it could be just as easy as 1, 2, 3, this person is in love with you, but because the root worker spell is not longevity, it's not long term, it don't go the long way, it's only short lived. Once that person wakes up to reality and they see that they're not really in love with you, it's over. It's game over. And if you have kids together, you know, moved in, they done quit their job, like, that's like crazy for that person, because they're like, what am I gonna do? We got kids, like, I'm living with you. Like, that's why you gotta be careful playing with magic. But that just reminded me of Snapped. People who are madly in love, and then all of a sudden that switch just goes off and it's over. It's game over. And you hear about that a lot. I think that's trending a lot now. If you look at YouTube, it's a lot of people telling stories about love spells going wrong. And that's usually what happens. Like, the person wakes up from the spell, because you can't go against someone's free will but for so long. And eventually they're going to wake up.
I want to say that, and I haven't seen this movie in such a long time. I want to see it. I actually want to see the stage play because of who one of the main actresses is. But I want to say that is the same premise for Death Becomes Her as well.
Okay, so I gotta see that too then.
Yeah, I want to say, like, she caused this spell, and it was like, I want to love you forever. I want to say is the spell that she does. And so when her husband dies, he comes back, and she's like, you were dead. But he's like, but the spell said you want to love me forever.
Oh my God.
What do you mean? Like, I'm dead, but you're not. So, and he's like trying to come back for her. Yeah. So it's yeah. Like, I want to say, and so it's Soraya. Is that not what happens? I know it's I really haven't seen that movie, but I really want to say that that's the premise of the movie, which is why
I gotta see it.
Yeah.
I gotta see it. That also reminds me of Beloved for some reason, like Oprah and then the daughter who she, you know, had to unalive because she didn't want her to be a product of slavery, and then the daughter came back and she was like, "I never left you." That was just insane. Like, watching that, I truly believe that people can reincarnate in different bodies. I truly believe that's possible. Even with animals. I know I had a dog growing, just completely random, but I had a dog growing up when I was younger. And I feel like when I bought my cat started acting like the dog that I had. So in some ways, since I felt like my dog or my cat had reincarnated. No, I'm sorry, my dog had reincarnated through my cat's avatar. And it's just weird because I feel like, once again, we never truly die, but, you know, people come back in different forms. And even the Kardashians have talked about that. Oh, I feel like Rob's daughter is our grandma because she acts just like her. That shit is real. Like, I feel like old heads be coming back through new heads all the time. And that's half the time why babies and kids know so much and they're so smart, because they're reincarnated. Let's keep it
Exactly.
moving. We got one more story. I hope this one is good. So this one talks about the Bennington Triangle. All right, this happens in Vermont. The vanishing people of Vermont, and all these stories you can Google, guys. They're all online. You can Google them. They're in newspapers, whatnot, for your own reference. All right. So between 1945 and 1950, several people mysteriously disappeared in a region of southwestern Vermont known as the Bennington Triangle. The area was full of dense forests and old Native American legends. It was said to be a spiritual widow, a place where energies shifted beyond worlds, right? So, in Middle Rivers, 1945, a seasoned woodsman vanished while leading a hunting group. His friends turned around and he was just gone. No tracks, no sign of struggle, nothing. Like they literally were camping, they turned around and hunting, they turned around and he was gone. Another one, Paula Weldon, 1946, a 19-year-old college student. She went hiking on the long trail and just disappeared without a trace. Her case sparked the creation of the Vermont State Police, and they still have yet to find her. Literally, no trail, no traces of her, nothing. She just disappeared. Locals say compasses go haywire, and there are stories of silent watchers, shadowy figures in the woods, right? So sometimes you think you know the world you walk through, right? Until the forest decides to take you. And I know there's a trail that I used to always walk in college. I don't know the street. Don't give me the lion. But I know I always walked it. But even if I were to go back now, I don't know if I would still know the trail. Even though I've walked it so many times, it's like I don't know if I would know my way around, especially with things changing after the hurricane or whatnot. But I say all that to say that even though you feel like you know a place, you know a location, you know a route, sometimes you don't know. And that reminds me also of Asia Degree. She was a girl who vanished. I want to say when I was in middle school, like literally vanished out of her bedroom. She was African American. If you guys go to Google now and Google her, she's probably our age now. She vanished when she was like 11.
Oh wow.
And I remember that vividly, Bestie, because we were in class when our African American teacher told us, like, there's a student that just vanished. And we were like, who? They're like, Asia Degree. I'm like, well, okay, I didn't know her. I'm young. I'm not, really putting two and two together. It didn't really hit like it's hitting now. And we were asking how she vanished, and they were like, well, her parents put her to bed, and they went to go get her up in the morning time, and her window was open. And she wasn't there. And they said her book bag was gone. They called the local police. Months later, it came out that this truck driver saw a little black girl walking down Highway 85, but he just kept going. Why? I don't know. At like 2 a.m. So she literally vanished. And so they have age progression videos and pictures to show what she would look like now. But she's our age, and she vanished when we were 11 years old. And her case has yet to be solved. And I know I'm jumping around here, but I truly believe that a lot of these vanishing kids or missing kids were probably used for organ harvesting. Because you hear a lot about these kids that are missing, and then they show up, but only bits and pieces of them show up. I can't think of the other story that was very cookie cutter to Asia's story, but it was a boy, a guy, a teenager. And I believe he died in the gym. If y'all know about it, please correct me. And his heart was missing. Either his heart or something like some vital organ was missing, right, Bestie?
Yeah, my cousin actually is from that town, and we were talking about this last week actually. So it was his intestines had been removed, and they're like, if somebody's intestines have been removed, how could this person then roll himself up in a mat, a wrestling mat at that, and die. Yeah, like, and she said right now the family is still they're protesting because they want justice, rightfully so. And every day, at least one family member is in front of the courthouse saying, "Open up the case, reopen up the case." Like we were just talking about this last Sunday. Mm-hmm.
That is insane. When I read about that, that's the first thing that came to mind, organ harvesting, because you have to think not so much logically, but spiritually. Why are all of these kids that are missing, predominantly African American, let's just keep it real, and not only that, but when they're missing and they do or they are discovered, it's bits and pieces. Just like the girl that walked into the freezer in the hotel and they said that she was drunk or whatnot. And I think was she not cut up or something? Something was missing from her. I don't know what. But they found her in the freezer. Why was she in the freezer? And why were pieces missing from her? Like, it makes no sense. So I say all of that to say that a lot of these stories, I truly believe lead to organ harvesting, because I think that when they have vital organs from the chosen ones, they're able to live longer. They're able to do tests, just like this whole pandemic of removing uteruses from all these women. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What are you doing with them? What are you doing with all these uteruses? Like, it makes no sense to me, but I digress. Okay, so I think that was the last story. Yeah, the first one wasn't all that. I should have researched that one better. The first one wasn't all that.
And I'm still trying to find that movie because it wasn't the. I said I'm still trying to figure out what movie that it was. It wasn't. It wasn't Death Becomes Her, but that is a good movie to watch. But when I was looking up, they said The Corpse Bride is also representative of that, and I was like, that is true.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing that I used to watch as a kid, and I used to watched it. I used to watch it so much that it didn't faze me until one night I realized that these were true stories. And I said, "Ooh!" And then it was like the light switch came on. Like, oh shoot, these are true stories, and that is Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, please! That was my show.
It was my show too.
Alien encounters, missing people. I believe all of those stories.
Exactly.
And people took it for a joke. I believe all of those stories.
Yep. And
UFOs, all that.
And there's growing up back home as well. There was this lady, one of my mom's friends, and ironically, hold on, side story with this. Ironically, the friend's oldest sister, or one of her oldest sisters, was my godmother. When she passed away, she visited me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but she was saying that there was this one street. It was like a small country town. And she said that there was a bad accident where these people were being chased by the cops and they ran into the trees and got killed. And they said that when you're by yourself on that road, you will see headlights coming as if there's a car behind you, but a car never comes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That is scary.
Yep. I mean, and think about American history. When the first settlers came to the colony in North Carolina, and they just disappeared. Nobody knows what happens to them. There's no letters, no recollection of what happened. There's no survivors. They just said all the settlers disappeared.
That's true. But see, history is going to always be his story. Who just disappears? No one just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
The only story story I believe where people actually disappear is a Bermuda Triangle. I truly believe that triangle underneath it is ancient indigenous soil. And I believe that the reason why people disappear is because our ancestors are angry about what's going on. Mother Earth is angry about what's going on. So if you cross that triangle, baby, you ain't coming back. And that is facts. Planes that have flew over have crashed and disappeared. Boats that have tried to sunk. Like no one has really ever successfully been able to travel within that vicinity. But I truly believe that's because the ancestors are just, they're fed up. And they're upset.
And to go biblical with that same theory, I also believe that that's where the Garden of Eden is. Because remember, God said an angel and said nobody can come in or out.
I didn't think about that.
I said, okay. And I said, now I don't know the ancient story for that, but if it's a marked territory where you're not supposed to enter, baby, you don't enter. I told you all a few weeks ago how this lady was passing something out at the spiritual retreat, and my grandmother told me, do not touch it. Like she was yelling at me, like if you touch this, and I was like, well, ma'am, first of all, I'm grown, but no. So, yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of reminds me also, I'm going to get to your story, Soraya. That reminds me also of like Black Wall Street and how, certain land is just like, it's cursed because of what happened on it. And I think that's why like a lot of lands people are not able to successfully build businesses on, or either when they build something, it catches on fire, or if they have a business, it's unsuccessful because certain lands are strategically, they're like cursed because of what happened on those lands. So I think you just have to be mindful and conscientious about where you're moving to, because a lot of places were previously graveyards, cemeteries, battlefields. So you have to know your history before you're moving someplace to know exactly what happened prior to you moving. Let's see what Soraya says. She has another story. Hold on. She says she woke up early one morning and saw a dark... Oh, girl, you get me scared. Hold up now. You ain't saying, was this real, Soraya? She saw a dark figure coming towards me out in the corner. I couldn't breathe or talk. I heard my mom outside my door moving around, helping my dad get ready for work. I was trying to call her and couldn't. She ends up knocking on my door and saying, "Hey, are you calling me?" As soon as she said it, I could breathe and move. I said I was trying to, but couldn't say anything. We found out a cousin died early that morning around the same time that happened. He used to sleep in my room when visiting. Wow. Oh, so Ryan, you just reminded me of a story, girl. That is crazy. You see, so you felt your cousin probably came, and I don't want to say harnessed your energy, but he probably came trying to let you know that he passed. Because see, you're spiritually tapped in, so you're able to connect to that other world, to that realm, to that energy, to that frequency. So he was tapping into you to let you know that he had transcended. That is such an eerie story. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that reminds me of my dad. He had a cousin who he was very close to. What was his name? I want to just call him Leroy, but that's not his name. We'll call him Leroy just for educational purposes. All right, so he had a cousin named Leroy. They grew up together, they played ball together, they were close, right? My dad had to have been like in his teens. He was living down south, and he found out that Leroy, Junebug was his name. Thank you, Spirit. Junebug. He found out that Junebug passed. Now, when Junebug passed, my dad did not get a chance to say goodbye to him. So they had been, playing ball together, hanging out. But when he passed, my dad wasn't able to say bye to him and, hug him, comfort him, tell him, you know what? I know that, I probably won't see you again, but, it was good to know you, buddy. So my dad said that the next night when he was asleep, because my dad actually had to sleep in the living room because where he was living was my aunt's house. and my aunt had 8 other children. So she only had a 2-bedroom. So my dad's room was a living room. He said that he slept in the living room. He said that night he woke up. Now, mind you, the TV was off, radio was off, nothing was on. He woke up and he saw this like burst of like wind. He saw the wind. It was like smoky, a burst of wind, and the cloud just opened up. And he said that's when he saw Junebug's face. And he said, I think he said, like, I'm gone then, or, I'll, see you at the crossroad, something like that. I don't know. And so my dad said that he jumped off that couch and he went into my aunt's room. And he said from that day on, he has never slept in that room. And he never did. He always slept in the room with all the other children or whatnot. But I always ask him, like, why do you think Junebug came back to visit you? And he's always like, because I couldn't get him to say goodbye to him. So I needed to say bye to him. So that's why he came and visited me. But he doesn't realize that scared the living daylight out of me because I wasn't used to spirits. I wasn't used to that word. I wasn't used to anything other than logic, than like tangible things. So my dad said from that day on, like, he knew that spirits existed, that people, they didn't really necessarily die. They just went to the next assignment. And he knew from that day on that spirits were real. So that's my story. That just made me quiver because I'm just like, damn, like I would hate for someone to feel like they couldn't come to me like that because I get like all shooken up and stuff like that. Like that type of stuff shakes me up. So I would rather somebody come into my dreams than come in the presence because I don't know how that would work for my nerves.
Yeah. And especially, so like I was saying about how my godmother passed, I was 6 years old. That's scary to a child. As an adult, I've been like, come back. And I guess she's like, you're grown now. You don't need me. So I'm just like, God, I'm going to kick it and chill with you. Okay. And now I know what it is. Right. But it's just think about how many kids, which is why a few episodes ago, I said, it's very important that you teach your children these things. It's not to scare them, but they need to be able to understand. Okay, now you said grandma was dead. Why am I seeing her right here? Why am I hearing this voice and it sounds like Auntie Susie and Auntie Susie's telling me to go in the kitchen? You right? The children do not understand. And when the children try to tell parents who are not opened or aware that these things are truly happening, they shut the child up. Even one of the young ladies that I work with, she said that similar experience. Her cousin was dying, and she said, I was trying not to pay attention to her. She said because she didn't realize she was dead. She said, but she came. She said she was like pulling and tugging on my arm, and she said I was like trying to hold my arms because I didn't want her to. I didn't want nobody to see my arm literally going like this, like. And she said she told her mom, don't pull her off the plug. She's not dead yet. She's not dead yet. They didn't listen to her, and they end up burying the young lady, the baby. And she said she was about 5 years old. She said, but that never left me because she visited me. And there are times when somebody will die, they don't realize that they're dead. And to your point about the dreams, I do remember having one of my friends pass. She had lupus and she got pregnant. And when you have lupus, they tell you not to have a baby because it could cause complications. So she wanted a baby anyway. She went full term. Unfortunately, she passed away. Me and my mom was praying for her, like praying. Well, the night that she passed, I was so torn up about it because I was like, no, like, because she was younger than me. And I was like, God, like, don't take her. That same night, she came to me and I didn't know. I just knew she passed. I didn't know the specifics. She came to me and she had milk or milky like substance coming out of her eyes and out of her mouth. And she was like, I just want to tell to Brian, I want to tell you and to tell your mom that I want to thank both of you for praying for me. I know you really tried, but tell her thank you. And I was like, and it scared the crap out of me. So I called my mom and I was like, she came to me in a dream and she told me to tell you thank you, tell us thank you for praying for her. But when I started telling her about like the milky substance coming out her eyes and her mouth, my mom then told me that they gave her some kind of chemical or medication to ease the pain. So because she was in hospice. So people, if you don't know what hospice is a way for them to drug your loved ones to ease them into dying. It is not a help to help them revive. A lot of people have that misconception. No, hospice is there to help ease the pain into death. And so she said that that's what had happened, and that's why I saw the milky substance coming out of those places. And I said, "Oh, well, because I didn't understand that. I know that she was giving birth to a child, so I'm like, well, why would she have milk now?" But yeah,
Did the baby?
yeah, the baby is still alive. He is now what 11, going on 12 years old.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So she died during childbirth?
Yep, she died during childbirth. Yep.
Oh my God, Soraya. Her dad went to hospice and died of starvation.
Yeah. Because they lose their appetite. They don't want to eat anything. They always want to sleep and sleep and sleep. And you can't eat when you're tired all the time.
That's interesting because my aunt used to date someone who was in hospice, and I never understood that she would take me to go visit him, and he was always on the couch laying down. And I'm like, why is he always asleep? She's like, because he's dying. I'm like, well, why? How? Why? Like, because I was young when she would take me there. I was young, and she would always take me to go see this man, and he was literally dying in front of our eyes.
Yeah. And it's because, like I said, a lot of people don't understand that that's what hospice is there for. They're like, oh, well, they're in hospice, and they say it with a joyful, yeah, they're in hospice. They're helping them, and I'm like, do you know what hospice is?
So they runs him up. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't digest food. It was poisoning him. So I'm sorry to hear that, Soraya.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Because I remember going there and seeing a lot of people there, and it felt like I was like walking through like a cemetery. Like everyone was just laid out.
Yep.
And you would take me there like every week, and I'm like, what is this? Like it was the complete opposite of a nursing home where they're up, they're active, they're doing things. I mean, everybody was just laid out. And I'm like, what is going on? As a young child, I'm like, why are we here?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
And I don't know if you knew her, but we had she wasn't our classmate, but a fellow alumni who was in the music program. And one of her jobs was to be a musical she was in hospice, but she was playing music. And I looked at her and I said, well, how is this therapy? Because her major was music therapy. And she said, I literally play music to ease their minds as they're passing away. And I was like, girl, that is cryptic, like talentedly cryptic, but okay. And she said, yeah, I didn't know it was a job either until I saw it. And I was like, wow. Yeah.
He was in Florida at the time. We couldn't even transfer him. I had to fly down to say goodbye. He saw me, tried to talk, and held my hand. Oh my God. I'm sending you so much love.
Mm-hmm.
So would it have been better if he was at home, or did you guys want him to be in hospice because they offer, like, how does that work? Do they offer to take loved ones that are like pretty much slowly, or do you just
it's something,
how does that work?
It's something like it's medical. Like, say if the person is of a certain age and they have a medical condition, and
Okay.
some people would just say, there's nothing else that we can do. Let's put them on
Okay.
hospice. Now, there's some people um, whose family members put them on hospice and they don't need to be on hospice.
What?
Yeah. But it's like when you that's why you have to be very careful about who has your
Mm-hmm.
medical things, because
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this. There's a family that we know. They had a the one of the grandmothers had a conversation with my mom, and she said, I don't want to die. And she said, but so why are you going? And she said, because that's what they told me that I need to do. And she said, but
What?
I don't want to die. I want to live to see my grandkids get older. And she died because they took
She
her
was in
to
hospice?
hospice. They took her to hospice.
And it's like, just think about the mentality behind that. If you're going to a place that's systematically set up for you to die, it's almost like your body is slowly transitioning to fulfill that prophecy. So I feel like, is hospice really for people who have already, whose body is shut down? Or is it like a mindset? Now I get, okay, you're sick, all right, but there has to be other alternatives. Like, because I feel like once you're there, like at a place that's designated to help you transition, I feel like, okay, all hope is gone now, because you are in this energy now, and they are setting you up to die.
Mm-hmm.
Soraya said that his organs were failing. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
saw
that I
that.
understand. All
Yeah.
right, that I understand. But your example of the lady who said that, like, she didn't want to die.
She
Like,
did
I
not
don't
want to
understand
die.
them putting her in a place that's helping her expedite that. I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. And
Is it supposed to be until they get better, or no?
no, when you take them there, you're literally helping to ease the pain to death. That's it. They
Now,
don't help you get better. Now, there have been some cases where, and it's very, 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 very rare, where I've heard somebody say, yeah, I was in hospice, but then something happened and I'm back. I'm here.
I was going to ask that. How many cases have people successfully beat the hospice stigma?
Right. And it's very rare. It's very
Okay.
rare. Yeah. Because most of the other times, like they're easing you to drugs, but in this person case, it was early. It was like day one after hospice, and like they got better. Like the thing that whatever I forgot their ailment, and they got better, and so they left, and so they were like, "Oh, okay, you didn't need to be here." Mm-hmm.
I would be interested to know if there is a holistic approach that has been introduced into hospice, because I'm curious to know what medications are being given, because I'm just curious to know that, because I just feel like sometimes certain medications make ailments worse, and I don't think that
Yeah.
people realize that until it's too late. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious.
Because
Morphine.
it's
Oh, girl.
yeah. I
Oh
was
my
gonna say
God.
it's straight chemicals in your bloodstream that they're pumping into you.
But that's why, though. Listen, that's half the problem right there. Like, you're pumping poison into someone who is already, like, who's fighting for their life, essentially. So you're pumping poison into someone who already has a weakened immune system. Like, that's not the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To make them comfy.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna
I'll
say.
tell
It
you
like
something.
it eases. That's what I said, to ease you off into death, to make it like an easy transition. Which yeah.
That's interesting, because when I went with my aunt to visit him, Nobody in there looked happy at all. That I remember. I never forget a face. I name, but I'll never forget a face. No one in there looked like they were comfortable.
Right.
No one. No family around. It was just my aunt and a whole slew of patients that were just laid out. I will never forget the feeling of walking in there. It just smelled of death.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget that.
Exactly.
That is interesting. That's very interesting. So I do have one more quick story, and then we'll end tonight's session. I know you're tired, B. You had class today. So you made a mention about, helping our kids become more acclimated with their spiritual gifts. And I have been so intentional about doing that because, Maya, with her being a Cancer moon, she is spiritually tapped into the other world, like the other realm. She is so spiritually in tune to where like it's starting to scare her. So her first spiritual initiation, I guess you'll say, was the buzzing noise. Like she heard like buzzing in her ears. And so I went to a practitioner. I said, my daughter's, I should have went to you, but I went to a practitioner and I said, my daughter's hearing, buzzing in her ear. What can we do? And he said, make sure when she goes to bed, she's wearing something white on her head, because that's going to, protect her aura and make sure that any entities that are trying to like send her messages, whether it be good or bad, it won't come in that form because she's so young. So the buzzing was starting to scare her because she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like it's no bees in here. It's no ants. Where's the buzzing coming from or whatnot? So that was the first thing that she had going on, the buzzing. Then when she went to her grandmother's house, she was there with her cousins and she said they were playing. And I get a call from her dad and he's like, Maya is wilding out. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, she keeps saying that she's seeing spirits. And I'm like, okay, just bring her home. And so Maya comes home, she's frantic, she's like rocking, she's like not herself. And I'm like, what happened? She was like, well, I was playing with, my cousin. And then I saw this demon's face on my cousin's face. She saw a demon on her cousin's face, were her exact words. And I was like, okay, was it your cousin or was it a demon? And she was like, I looked at my cousin and I saw a demon on her face. And I was like, okay, are you sure? She was like, yes. And so after that, like, she never really wanted to go back over there again because that scared her. That like made her frantic. And I don't know if what that situation attributed to. I have no idea why she went through that. I didn't even touch on that. I didn't, reach out to the practitioner. I just let that be. And she hasn't really gone back over there as often. She's gone back there, but it hasn't been as frequent as before. But I think had I had a conversation with her about her spiritual gifts and letting her know that, she's going to see more of that. She's going to feel more of that. She's going to experience more of that. It would have lightened her load and prepared her for that because she's going to see more. She's going to feel more. She's highly intuitive. She's spiritually clairvoyant. And she's always getting like downloads and messages, headaches, ringing in her ear, dreams. I mean, she's had dreams of people passing away. Like she's highly intuitive. So it is so important that we speak to our children and we help cultivate their spiritual gifts because they're in tune, but they don't know how to articulate what's going on. They can't really wrap their brains around why they're seeing ghostly figures of the person that's passed already. Why they're hearing ringing in their ears when nobody is there. And she was hearing the ringing in school as well. Because I thought it was just, okay, well, maybe she was hearing it here. Maybe it was construction, whatever. She was hearing it at school. She would hear it in the streets. And it was the same ringing noise wherever she would go. So that's how I know that, she wasn't making it up.
And that ringing is also a training in a sense. So remember how when we were younger, we did the hearing test?
Yeah.
It's like Spirit's way of giving us the hearing test. Like, okay, can they hear me? Or when it's that time, will they be able to hear me clearly? Because I used to have hearing, this ringing, but it sounded like a gradual noise. So it'll go like, and I'd be like what in the world? But it was so fast that I was just like what was that? You know?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. Like that's not scary for me, of course, now because I'm older. But for a child, they're just like, what is happening?
What is happening? Exactly.
And she can't really raise her hand and tell the teacher. They're gonna be like, what, girl? You crazy, you know? Like, you don't want to be labeled as someone who's like, you know, a little off their rocker. So I get it. So yes, it's so important for us to listen to our children, talk to them through what they're experiencing, because if they are chosen, they're going to experience a whole hell of a lot more than just ringing in their ear.
Exactly.
They're going to start seeing auras. They're going to start having dreams. They're going to be in the ethereal realm.
Feel things.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going to start seeing a lot more. So talk to your children. Spirit testing you for what Ash said.
So it's Spirit is trying to make sure that whenever you get the message that you hear them clearly, or I don't want to say them. So it came out. I really didn't mean to say them. So maybe that was for somebody. So maybe for some people that you're gonna hear ghosts and you're gonna be like, this person's dead. But no, but they're talking to you loud and clear. But it's the and another way too. Think about the visual test. Follow my hand. Can you follow my finger? Because it's want to make sure you can follow the directions that your eyes. There's nothing wrong with your eyes. They want to make sure, right? So Spirit is like, from the other side, since you cannot see me, can you hear this when I do this? And remember how with the hearing test, sometimes the doctors go to your ear and go, did you hear that?
Yep.
Did you hear that? You know. I understand. I understand. And so, and I was going to say that because it was very similar to, like I said, like the ringing was like that. So I'm just like, what is that? But for the empath side of me, it felt like me going through waves. Like that's why I say it was like the ripple effect, like that you see in waters. I would walk into a space and all of a sudden that's what it felt like. And I would just stand there like, what is this? Why is this happening to me? And I would get like on 10 every single time because I didn't know what that meant. And all of a sudden I just felt everything. Now in hindsight, I'm realizing that was my empath picking up everybody else's stuff. Because I used to, and it always happened at my barbershop. When I was a kid, I used to hate to go to the barbershop by myself because I would pick it up. And when I was by myself, nothing. But when I was there with a crowd of men and young boys, and it's like on the inside, I would freak out. I'd be like, I'm going to sit right here, and I would get a book and read it, like just get lost in the magazines because I did not want to be there. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Now I honestly can't tell you, Ash, because I don't remember when the ringing stopped. I just know that it stopped. Yeah, it just stopped, and I was like, okay, well, it stopped.
Does it go away though? It might not go away.
And that's true too. Well, because, and I will say that they do say that sometimes hearing a buzzing is a sign of death.
Oh wow!
So that's another thing too. Yeah.
Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
You are.
Mm-hmm. Wow, these stories are. I'm telling you guys, like spiritual gifts, you really have to be in tune with yourself. in order for you to really like transmute them, because sometimes you'll have these gifts and you'll think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? No, not what's wrong with you. Like, honor them. Honor these gifts, because not everybody is blessed with them. Not everybody is tapped in. So you need to honor these gifts, guys. How do you honor them? Meditate. You meditate on them to see what spiritual gifts that you have. Or if you're not sure, write down all of these things that are happening to you. Are you waking up at 2 a.m.? Are you having these buzzing noises in your ear? Write them down and come to be and ask him what they mean. Because he'll tell you. Everything means something different.
Ashley out here killing folks in the spiritual realm. You were wanted spiritualist. No, I honestly don't know. That's the first time I have heard that.
Me too, Anne. I've never heard that.
Because I do know that they say when you dream about killing someone, it's almost one of those things. It's something that you have to release.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, because remember, like that dream that I said, I felt like where I got shot and I actually felt the bullet, but when I woke up, it was like I was okay, because I was like, girl, did you shoot me for real? I was gonna say, girl, I need to go back to that dream and whoop her, you know what, because she shot me for real. But yeah, like,
I've never heard that, Ash.
Wow. Oh, okay. Right.
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that one. That's one I'm gonna have to sit with for a while. Right.
The first, Ash. Look into that. Meditate on that, because I want to know. I want to follow up.
Yeah. And it could also mean that that person may have thought that you did something, but later find out that you didn't do it. And they may or may not tell you. Because it's an accusatory thing. We might don't listen. Y'all can't come up here be talking about y'all be dreaming about unaliving folks in these streets. Okay. They're gonna shut us down. They creating murderers in these streets. Right. But yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, because if you really think if it's something accusatory, it's something that is meant to kind of depart you, you know.
Oh my goodness. Well, what's self-defense then, honey? That's self-defense, okay?
Okay, yeah, at least self-defense. She also know why we laughing. Your warrior. Woo.
Oh, crazy. Oh my
God. Okay. 1, 2, she's coming for you.
Okay. Watch out now. Soraya the Sniper.
Okay.
Soraya the Sniper. That's your new name. Soraya the Sniper.
Okay.
I'm scared of you, boo. I ain't gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
Girl, I ain't messing with you. Listen, whatever you want, child, I ain't messing with you. Soraya the Sniper. I don't know what you was in a past life. A sniper or what?
Oh, and one of them, she was a warrior, honey. I said, oh, that's where they come from, huh? I said, these people better leave you alone. They don't know who they messing with.
Look, Soraya, I bow down to you.
Right. Because it was. I said, what? I said, girl, I see why.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. She said, B, you want to explain this too much to type.
Yeah. That's what I just did. Mm-hmm. It was that warrior. I said, as soon as I saw it, I texted her. I said, oh, so you was a warrior, huh? In your past life.
Mm-hmm. She stayed in her bag. Okay. Mm-hmm. But a lot of us are, though. Think about it. A lot of us come from warriors. So it's in our blood. It's in our DNA. So why wouldn't that trickle down the bloodline and hit us?
Exactly.
That's why a lot of us come from warrior. A lot of us are Harriet Tubman descendants. Come on now.
Listen.
Come on now. So why would that not trickle down in our blood and healers too?
Yeah.
Healers can be warriors.
Exactly.
Healers can be warriors.
I was talking to someone, excuse me, recently about I honestly can't remember how we got on the topic. And Soraya, I'm trying to think if it was you, but I was talking about how I think it was you, about how my grandparents and my mom and grandmother, they're not afraid to stand up for people. That's a thing that happens with our entire family. That means that's a generational thing. And my grandfather said that, I don't know who the Pools are in North Carolina. I'm still trying to look them up, but apparently they were people that you did not want to mess with. they acted upon what they talked about. Okay, if you catch me what I'm saying, catch what I'm saying. Okay.
I'll praise my last one too, because let me tell you, I'm done with Earth.
We were talking about that too. I said I need to do mine because baby, I'm tired. Yeah, y'all don't understand how draining people are when you are an empath.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. And when you do spiritual work, people can be so draining. And you're looking like, why? What happened? Like I was telling Soraya, there are some days when I look up and say, God, get your humans. Get your humans.
For real.
Because
for real.
And now granted, now we love y'all, right? We love our watchers. But when you have people who drain you, think about it. It's that one person that you just like, oh my God, here they come. Brace yourself. Imagine you minding your own business. The next thing you know, you feel this pull out of nowhere, and you being tugged spiritually. And next thing you know, you don't have any energy for you. You don't even have energy to cook. That's what it's like spiritually.
And I want to say, you or either Soraya sent me a post. It could have been Dolores, where we're supposed to be as healers out there, healing the community. But it's tough because we take everything in. We internalize so much, and we literally are sponges for the world's energy. So it's hard for us to go out in crowds, to be amongst the people. I know Jesus did. I don't know how the hell he was able to do it with a sound mind and heart, because it's tough.
But I tell people, if you think about it, that's why he said, I have to get away. He had to find his quiet time. Healers have to find their quiet time because they have to rejuvenate. I tell people that all the time.
That's why they say healers have to date protectors, because if you are a healer, you are constantly consuming so much, not even purposely. Like, you consume someone else's energy unconsciously half the time. So you have to date someone who knows when to be like, you know what, you've had enough. Shut this shit down. Okay.
Exactly.
You gotta be with someone going, you know what, you're doing the most now, all right? Pipe down. You gotta be with a protector, someone who's gonna say, you're doing the most. Your energy is depleted. You can't pour from an empty cup. It's time to go home. You got to. Healers got to date protectors. You have to. Yeah, that was you, Soraya. Because I'm like, I knew it was you. Like, it's crazy how, that's a part of our mission, to be out here amongst the people, raising the vibration of humanity. But that is also a catch-22, because we can do that, but sometimes we got to do that from a distance. We got to help heal from a distance, because when we're too much in the mix, and remember, we're like magnets. People are magnetized to us. Soraya, you know this, being a healer, people are just, they're instantly drawn to you because you just vibrate this frequency that's on the same level as the earth. So they're instantly drawn to you, but that also depletes you as well.
Yeah, and I try to tell people that when I get quiet, it's like I it's not like something that's planned. It just happens, and it's just like I can't move it. There's some days when I'm in the house and I have free time. It's like stay in, rest. I'm like, okay, because you need that. And that is how the physician, the healer, heals themselves so that they can go back out.
That's right. And we have to be intentional about doing that, because we, like I said, we are just sponges for other people's emotions. And so we have to make sure that we are filling ourselves up so that we can pour into other people. Because so many people take from us, not even purposely. They take our energy, our time, our frequency.
Exactly. And it's like
they don't know that they're doing that. They don't know, because a lot of them aren't tapped in, so they don't even know that just simply talking to us is like literally siphoning a part of our energy. They don't realize that. So that's why we have to be intentional about filling ourselves up and making sure that we're charging our own battery.
Yeah. And for those of you who need a church reference, remember how the preacher that preaches that really good word that gets everybody hyped, and then they're sitting in the chair, and then the people come around them to pray life back into them to restore their energy. Think about those of us who live that way daily. It gets zapped out, and nobody's pouring into us, so we gotta let y'all have y'all day, let y'all have y'all moment, sit back and relax, do nothing, and rejuvenate. And in the good words of Ashley, and call our energy back to us.
Right. That's the word of the night. Rejuvenate and call your energy back. You guys do not know how important that is to call it back, because sometimes you give it out unconsciously, and sometimes people, specifically exes, they'll be tugging on it. You have to always call your energy back from people consciously and unconsciously that may be siphoning it. I'm telling y'all, it's going to make a world of difference, and you're going to feel the difference once you do it. Every night that you go to bed, I call my energy back to me. I call my energy back to me. I call my energy back to me. And look how you feel. Just wait to see how your body feels. It's going to make a world of difference. So, oh my God, I love tonight's episode.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up, guys. This has been such a thought-provoking episode. And I'm really happy that we talked about a multitude of things, not only not only, I hate calling them ghosts, spiritually inspired stories. See, now I'm hearing the ringing in my ear. That's crazy. I'm glad that we were moved to talk about spiritually inspired stories. Someone's texting me. Hold on. And we are glad that y'all were able to join us. Hopefully you guys came dressed to impress, even though we can't. Oh, if y'all want to actually take a picture of yourselves.
Yes, and tag us.
I will post it. I will post it in the story. I would love to do that. Take a picture of you dressed up, and I'll post it in my story. And we'll go from there. So thank you guys so much for joining us on another special of Cards and Conversations, our special Halloween episode. We appreciate love and we value you guys. Just in case you didn't know, we do this every Tuesday, 11:11 Eastern Standard Time, same place. Oh, and next week we will resurrect Ask B. Okay, so all you guys that didn't get a chance to Ask B last week or tonight, we'll resurrect it next week. All right, so you'll have another 7 days to be able to figure out what questions you're going to ask me, or 8, 9, however many days it is until next Tuesday. All right. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Cards and Conversations, where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions. Happy Halloween, my Moonlight Misfits. Bye.
Yes, bye.